think we're standing in the way of lunch.
Gail McCarty from Parents Victoria. Thanks, John and Jihad. They were fantastic presentations, and the questions probably I'm going to pose, maybe I need to get the answers in the break because time's limited, but for Jihad it would be about what jumped out at me was restarting the PNC in a proactive way. That's jumped out, and that's happening in Victoria in a number of spots. I'd like to talk to you about that later. Sure. And John, really interested in some of the characteristics that came up with the surveys, but I noticed in the there was a gap. I don't know what that was about the parent role in governance. It was sort of. Did you notice that? It was blank, and I thought so. I'll talk to you about that later too.
Yeah, that's okay. Can I just say that a lot of people have mentioned that deficit model. We're going to help parents to do whatever. We took some of Joyce's stuff, the sort of parent asset survey, to see what actually what was out in our community, and we found that very illustrative. And we've actually used that to sort of bring people into work in particular curriculum areas. So there are a lot of good things out there. We just need to figure out how to access those. And I'll have to come back to you on the governance one. I don't know about that.
Yeah, hi, Stephen Frost, and it's probably more for Jihad. As an ex-Punchbowl boy, not Punchbowl High, but through the Punchbowl primary system, and the community's changed so much. But just wondering, you mentioned, I think, the primary schools, some interaction. Do you deal much with the feeder primary schools? And then something that's being thrown about is the U13s. What's going on beyond Year 12, getting the old boys back to say how they're going?
Oh, well, Steve... Thanks for that. Look, it's great to see. It amazes me how many people have either been to Punchbowl or have had a story with us, so we'll catch up at some stage. But we do work with the partner primary schools. One of our colleagues was here a little bit earlier from Wiley Park. To give you an example of something that we're doing, say, with Punchbowl Public next week, which is our namesake, it's literally down the road. Our boys have been working on a bike program. You would have seen the photos of that, where basically what we do is we've been getting broken bikes or bikes that haven't been collected by the police or, beyond repair. Our boys are fixing them and then teaching kids how to ride properly. We're going to be going, I think it's the week after next, our students are going to be teaching the Year 5 and 6 students at Punchbowl Public how to do some bike mechanical work, and it's going to be a 4-week program. We also do, we had some reading programs that we're working out with our local schools. I spoke a lot about the idea of the community. The community also means, the local primary schools. We had with Greenacre, which is up the road. Last year we grabbed their Year 6 students and we ran an 8-week program, 4 weeks in mathematics and 4 weeks in science, because primary schools don't have science labs. So we got them to come down to our school and to be able to undertake experiments that our teachers did. In terms of what happens beyond the school, we've set up our foyer area. Really, it's about building the confidence of the kids and making them aware that many of our old boys have gone on to good things. So we've got this thing called a Friends of Punchbowl Boys High School, and we just take photos of everybody that we know or everybody who we can get into a photo frame with and hang around there, or ex-students, and say this is what they're doing, this is who they are. My dream is to establish, and if you want to help me with it, I'd really appreciate it. I would love to establish like a formalised, almost like an old boys Friends of Punchbowl network. We get a lot of ex-students to come back in. Not Sir David Richmond. David Richmond, who was really heavily responsible for the Sydney 2000 Olympics, was an ex-student. So we got him to come into the school. Steve Folkes, who was the old Bulldogs coach, got him to come to the school. Jeff Tomo was an ex-student, and I'm trying to get Greg Welsh, who was actually the first Australian to win the Ironman in Hawaii, trying to get a hold of him. But I also wanted kids to get the academic aspect. There's one of the justices apparently was an ex-student, so if I could talk to you about that. But that's really important for the kids also to see. It's that idea that, guys, this is we're aiming up here. We're no longer here. So if we could talk about that, that'd be great. Oh, so the parents?
Yeah, both. I believe in the interaction there, but there's dropout between transition from primary to high, and if it's a junior high to a senior college, but parental engagement.
So one of the ways that we've done parental engagement, I've gone and spoken at some of the different PNCs of the local primary schools, but we also, some of the programs that we've done, like the Olive Tree program that we're doing at the moment, it's like parents who know parents, and we get everybody to come in. So it's not just Punchbowl Boys High School. we allow it to happen at our school and we let them use our school minibus and all that sort of thing. But I'm happy to have anybody come in from any school to go in there. Probably don't work specifically with parents from primary schools more than that. We have the parent information nights, we have the Welcome to Year 7 barbecue. It's really important. We think there is a big drop-off of parents when they get to Year 7 and with the kids as well. Parents take all their kids to school in Year 6, but then they get to high school and they kind of almost think, oh no, they're in big school now, but the kids actually need them just as much, if not more. And we're just trying to make sure the parents keep getting involved. So we work in whatever way we can. Like as I said, it's that idea the door's open, so we never rule anything out. But in terms of, I go and speak at the PNC, and when we have the information sessions, we get the parents and we ring the parents rather than saying, I don't rely on kids to get letters, I don't rely on the internet, I just rely on a phone call, a bit of like a real person. So, we might split it up, me, the deputies, few of the head teachers, we go, look, let's ring 5 people each and just sort of make sure that we get them to come in.
Last one, a very quick one. We're really behind time, so...
So this is a question to both of you. When you leave your schools, is it sustainable?
Shall I take that?
You have a go and then I'll have a go, because I did for a while. So
mine's very easy. I think that the challenge that Steve Constantino put in my lap was, what sort of process, what sort of strategy, what sort of structure are you going to put in there? And I think that actually supports the work that we do. Within the culture of the school, everybody understands that the work is central to what we do. So I would suspect that it'd be very hard to break our culture now. But principals are very key players in this, so I suppose if they've got a really retrograde principal, then that might be a problem. He'd certainly have a revolt on his hand.
Look, I actually came and did some work in Canberra last year on the Empowering Local Schools initiative. I was seconded and I was here for about 5.5 months or so. So I missed the winter, which was really fantastic. And so I left the school for a bit, and that was one of my concerns. Look, what's going to happen to the school? Of course, there's this change when you're not there, and if you are, as John, as much as we don't want to say, we're dominant characters within the school, and people rely on you for all sorts of things. But the school didn't fall over while I wasn't there. I was welcomed back, of course. Some of the kids said, "Oh, sir, you've left us." The important thing was to let the people know. For me, it was important to let the kids know and the parents, I'm not going to something better. I don't think there's anything better. So that they didn't feel that I said, I'm just going to do something different for a little bit. And I left for a while and I came back and look, there were a few things that I thought, look, I just need to tighten up some of these areas to take on. There will be, I think I'd feel sorry, I think, for the principal who comes in after John and I, because there is that little bit of comparison in the same way that my predecessor. But everybody has to be a little bit different. You set up certain things. All I would say to the principal who comes in after me is use the power of this community. What works is involving them. But they all bring in their own different things. So I know we won't go back to being what we referred to in the media, and John would feel the same way. And in that sense, we've done it well. But you've also got to pick your time. You don't just walk away whenever you can. You've got to make sure all the ducks are lined up so somebody can continue. I think that's a fair thing to the community. It's not about us. It's actually about what we've set up there. And then our careers will go wherever they go. But I don't know. They think they're going to get a plot for me in the school somewhere. I've said, as long as I get some columns, it's all right.